What's up, everybody? Superworks fan here for another weekly update. Now, the Chicago Auto Show is going on this week, so there's lots of news to cover and nothing to really talk about with the Mustang, so I figured I'd dive straight into the news here. And so, the first thing is very exciting, and that is that there's a trademark that was just filed in Europe for the Lexus LC F. Now, we already know, of course, the LC500 is out, and the LC500H, which is the hybrid version. So, it's been confirmed that there has been approval from Akita Toyota, which is saying that they gave a green light to the LCF. It is going to be made. I'm not sure when it's coming, but the trademark in Europe confirms that this is actually happening. The standard one has a V8 engine, does 467 horsepower, something around those lines. So there's rumors that it could be a twin turbo V8 engine in the F version, and that it could be around 600 horsepower. Now, these are just rumors. Who knows, what's actually going to materialize, but, exciting nonetheless, and hopefully we'll be seeing that before too long. Another pretty awesome thing that debuted this past week is Dodge unveiled the Durango SRT, and we had our hopes up ever since SEMA last year whenever the Durango Shaker concept was revealed, and the 2018 Dodge Durango SRT is a real thing. It has the 392 6.4 liter V8 Hemi engine, does 475 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, and it's got 3 rows of seats. So this is officially the coolest way to haul around 7 people, I think now. So 0 to 60 time 4.4 seconds, and should be a lot more exciting to drive than most 3-row SUVs. And Dodge has gone as far as to say they're calling it a 3-row Charger, and it does share a lot of the same styling elements and things like that, obviously, with the Durango and the Charger. And other changes, it has a torque flight 8-speed automatic like all the other Durangos, but it's been tuned so that it has a sportier demeanor for the SRT version. It's got full-time all-wheel drive that's been also recalibrated here, of course, for the SRT version. It can actually tow more than all the other Durangos as well, thanks to the largest engine ever offered in the Durango here. So I can tow 8,600 pounds with the trailer, which is 1,200 more than the standard 2017 V8 Durangos. And so I mean, quarter mile time is 12.9 seconds, and you also get a full day of Bob Bondurant School of High Performance Driving whenever you buy one of these things, which is pretty awesome. Again, for buying a 3-row SUV to get a day of driving school out of it is pretty cool. I mean, it looks cool as well. You got the hood bulges that are similar to a Viper. It's got more aggressive front and rear bumpers, LED fog lamps, more air vents, bolder exhaust tips there in the back, wider wheel flares, and overall it's just all kinds of awesome. So now let's hope that there's some kind of Hellcat version if this one sells well, but just awesome they're even offering this. It's really cool of Dodge to do. Other cool Dodge news is, of course, new teasers for the Dodge Challenger Demon, which is coming here in a few weeks. And this teaser this week gives us a clear shot of that enormous hood scoop that we've already seen in leaked pictures. But to be exact, it's a 45-inch wide scoop, and it's going to be bringing back the air grabber name from the, the Demons and stuff of the 70s. And so that was a typical Mopar thing back then. And so they're bringing that back, which is awesome. I love the little graphics they have. Also, if you remember the Hellcat, one of the inner headlights on the driver's side was an air intake, actually. For the Demon, both inner headlights there are now intakes. So all about the airflow there, of course. Additionally, it looks like it has a K&N style air filter as well to, again, help it breathe better. The teaser also does show us a supercharged Hemi engine, and it honestly looks like a supercharger very, very similar to the Hellcats. So could just be, more power than Hellcat with a different kind of pulley or some kind of other mods that you'd see in the aftermarket. Or there could be more than meets the eye there, from the quick little teaser. But very exciting to see that teaser, and hopefully we find out more interesting stuff next week as well. Another interesting rumor this week is that Tesla may start their pilot production of the Model 3 here on February 20th. And so the pilot production would be cars that are going to be going down the production line to test the production of the Model 3, but they won't be consumer built cars. These are just, test units, I suppose. And now Tesla has been known to miss dates in the past, as far as, they say, oh, we're going to be doing this on this day, and it doesn't happen for another few months. So, this is still not confirmed. This is just a rumor that they're starting up around then. And, depending on what kind of supplier issues there might be, things like that, it could, be delayed. But, I mean, that's really soon. We do know that they've already started mass production of the battery for the Model 3 at the Gigafactory. So the battery's already being made for the Model 3. So it would make sense that they can start actually building cars here as long as everything else is lined up. So we'll have to wait and see if that gets confirmed or not. But we could actually be seeing some Model 3s here, maybe in the next year or so, maybe even sooner, who knows. But so cool to see that. Another thing that's actually going to start being produced very soon is the Lamborghini Urus SUV. So pre-production, Lamborghini has said, is going to be starting in April. Pre-production, again, are not customer units. These are just to test out the production and, press vehicles, all that kind of stuff, I'm assuming. But they're saying that they're going to be eventually, I guess, a few months from that point, so a few months after April, figure late summer, is whenever they're going to start on customer orders. And they've also capped production on Lamborghinis. The Huracan and the Aventador both at 3,500 units each, and they're expecting similar production numbers here for the Urus of 3,500 units each year. So that is, about what the plant can do with their newly expanded factory in Santa Agata Bolognese. So that should be cool to see that. And we know it's going to have a twin-turbo V8 engine with a plug-in hybrid alternative power thing going on as well there. But thankfully, they've already said that is only for the SUV. There's not going to be any kind of hybrid other Lamborghini supercars yet in the future. So that's good to hear. But cool to hear that that's finally coming to production after so many years. A cool BMW that was spied out testing was a variant of the M2 that could either be the CS, like a sportier competition package model, or could be some type of GTS model. We're not sure. We just see some heavy camouflage there on the front bumper, so that is not a production front bumper or anything. And the back has some tweaks as well to it. And so it's just, being driven around here in the winter, being developed. I don't know if they're going to... Some people are saying it could have like the M3, M4 engine in it, with more power than the regular M2, although I don't think more power is what the M2 needed, really. But who knows what they're going to be doing with this. Could be... It's most likely just a more hardcore, race-ready kind of version, stripped out, probably lighter weight, all that kind of stuff. So cool to see that being worked on. There also, some other spy shots this week. Audi was spy testing the new RS5, which, has the more aggressive front and rear bumpers, but otherwise looks very similar to all the other Audi S5s that were just revealed. And so we don't know much about that yet either. They're just, out there driving them around with the camouflage on. We may be seeing it as soon as the Geneva Motor Show here next month. Again, that just remains to be seen how soon they want to roll out the RS version here. But one of the rumors that's kind of disappointing about the new RS5 is that a lot of people are expecting it to have a twin-turbo V6 engine. Now, the S5 has had the twin-turbo V6, but one of the cool things that differentiated the RS model was this glorious-sounding V8 engine. And if the new RS5 is getting rid of that engine, that will really be sad. So I'm hoping that they maybe leave, and put the smaller 4-liter twin-turbo V8 maybe out of the RS7, something like that, in the RS5 would be pretty sweet. But we'll just have to wait and see what Audi decides to do. But we'll keep our fingers crossed the V8 lives on. And for some of these Chicago reveals, the Chicago Motor Show is going on this week. And so one of the first vehicles that was revealed here, actually last week, that's being shown in Chicago is the 2018 Subaru Legacy. So they refreshed it a little bit here. It's not a whole lot different, but as you can see, it has some sharper headlights there, slightly redone front and rear bumpers, and, very, very mild changes. But I think it does look a little bit sharper and a little more modern than the current Legacies for 2017. So aside from those, revised fascias, the engines are the same 175 horsepower, 2.5-liter boxer 4-cylinder, or the 256 horsepower, 3.6-liter flat 6 boxer engine, which is a dinosaur at this point. But yes, that is still being offered. I'm honestly surprised they're still offering that engine. But yeah, and they also, Subaru said that they've tweaked the transmission tuning to make it a little more responsive, but of course they all just have the same CVT transmission, so I'm not sure how sporty you can really make it feel, But, I tried the CVT in the Forester XT, and it wasn't awful. Not my favorite, though. I mean, no CVT is really that fun. But other things that Subaru's revised is the suspension, the brakes, and the electronic power steering here for 2018. And they say that they want to make it more engaging to drive. So, I mean, we'll have to just drive them and see if that's true. They also said they've improved and made changes to the transmission, mirrors, and cabin to help improve the car's noise harshness and vibration levels. They also have completely redesigned the center console on the interior, and there's better materials inside the cabin as well, which is really, I think, the biggest improvement here for the new Legacies. It has an 8-inch display now is available with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, they're saying, is actually standard for all Legacy models for 2018. And that new center console, it shares a lot with the new Subaru Impreza, but it does look, a lot better than the 2017s once again. And so I think the biggest improvements there are on the inside. So anyway, cool to see that, and we'll hope that one day Subaru brings back a sporty Legacy too. One car company that continues on with the sporty models is Hyundai. Hyundai has just revealed the 2018 Elantra GT, which is the hatchback version of the Elantra, essentially. And so the exciting thing is now we have the standard Elantra GT, which is fine, and it looks actually pretty good, honestly, for a small hatchback. I think it's a very good looking little thing. But the awesome thing is that they're making an Elantra GT Sport. Now, we already know about the Elantra Sport for the normal sedan, which has the same engine as the Veloster Turbo, 201 horsepower from a 1.6 liter turbocharged engine, and that same motor is going under the hood of the Elantra GT as well. And so same engine, same horsepower, all that kind of stuff. It's going to have one of the upgrades with the Sport is it gets a multi-link rear suspension setup over the standard torsion bar rear suspension of the regular Elantra GT. It gets bigger wheels with the Sport version and larger front and rear brakes as well. And the interior is a little sportier on the Sport version as well. Go figure. But yeah, all Elantras, you can actually get them with some pretty nice features, including dual zone climate control, leather, cruise control with start-stop functionality, autonomous emergency braking, lane keep assist, all that kind of stuff on little affordable hatchback. Pretty cool. It's going to be available in this summer of 2017 here. And so I'm just excited that they're continuing on with these sporty models here with more power. And I think it's a very nice alternative to those that don't want a GTI or something like that. And so kudos to Hyundai for keeping it going. Ford at the Chicago Motor Show has unveiled the 2018 Expedition and Expedition Max. And the standard Expedition, it's grown a lot. And obviously, it's completely restyled from the ground up. Totally new styling. And some people say it looks bland, but I think this is honestly the best looking SUV that Ford has made in a while. I think it's really elegant and actually really sleek looking. And I mean, again, it's an Expedition, but for an Expedition, it looks really, really good. They've also switched the body panels over to aluminum, much like the F-150 that it's based on. They say it's lost up to 300 pounds. So, I guess depending on trim levels, might not be 300 pounds lighter, but around 300 pounds lighter overall. It's going to only have the 3.5 liter EcoBoost twin turbo V6 engine. They haven't announced any kind of specs for it yet, but around 375 horsepower and 400 some odd pound-feet of torque, much like the current 2017 F-150s that have that new engine in them. All-wheel drive is available, but you can get it with rear-wheel drive as well. The interior is, again, very similar to the F-150 since that's, again, what it is based on. It does have a lot of cool tricks up its sleeve, though, to be a family hauler, such as a second row that tilts forward for easier access to the third row without having to move child seats and things like that. And it's got all kinds of, Wi-Fi hotspots and all the infotainment you can think, lots of USB jacks and power outlets and all that kind of stuff to help, this typical family road trips and all the needs that families like that have. And hopefully, that'll continue to do well. It's about 4 inches longer than the outgoing Expedition and should be nice. And of course, if you're looking, there are going to be 3 different trim levels, the XLT, the Limited, and then the Platinum. And then if you want something even nicer than the Platinum, Lincoln should be introducing their new Navigator that this will be based on. That should be coming here probably at the New York Auto Show in April. But anyway, cool to see the Expedition. Like I said, I think it looks pretty good. Toyota showed off a couple new models here in Chicago, including a slightly restyled Tundra and Sequoia and TRD Sport models of each of those, and also a RAV4 Adventure model, which I'll get into here in a second. But first, the 2018 Tundra. It's got a bunch of updates. They now all come standard with Toyota Safety Sense P, which has all the safety features like pre-collision detection with pedestrian detection, lane departure alert, auto high beams, and dynamic cruise control with the radars and all that stuff. The Sequoia gets those same features as well, and they also have new grills and headlights and trim and bumpers, all that typical refresh stuff, and I think it looks pretty good. And you can also on the higher trim levels get LED headlights and LED daytime running lights as well. Now these TRD Sport models for the Tundra and for the Sequoia, they're not like the TRD Pro models for the Tacoma, which is like an off-road special. These TRD Sport things are more street-oriented performance upgrades. And they include TRD anti-sway bars with specially tuned Bilstein shocks. And then if you go for, I guess, on the Sport, you also get a bunch of exterior stuff. You have different mirrors and hood scoops, 20-inch alloy wheels, a mesh grille, and blacked out headlights. And of course, there's TRD graphics and shift knobs and floor mats and all the typical trim stuff. Same basic thing for the Sequoia with the TRD trim. Same tuned suspension with anti-sway bars and Bilstein shocks, and then you get the same graphics and exterior stuff. So nothing mind-blowing there, but cool to see them out offering TRD versions of the Sequoia because they haven't ever really. And as far as that new little RAV4, the RAV4 Adventure, it's basically, got a little bit more ground clearance and it looks a little more off-road than a standard RAV4. Since that's all the craze these days, everyone wants something that looks like it's going to go off-road, even though it never will. And these also come standard with a tow package, which is helpful if you actually do plan to, tow things with your RAV4. It's available with all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. And yeah, you get those over fenders, they're calling them, for, giving it that rougher look. Lower body guards. It also has blacked out headlights and 18-inch black wheels, and it's going to be available in September. So again, with all the craze around these types of vehicles, I'm sure it'll sell very well. Couple Chevy stories this week. The first actually isn't from Chicago, but that is that Chevy has just unveiled their Camaro GT4R, which is not a street car, so don't get excited. It's strictly a race car. It's based on the 2017 ZL1 Camaro, and it has a 6.2 liter LT1 V8 engine. But for this race car version, now it's developed for the GT4 race series, not street legal or anything. So the V8 is dry sumped as far as the lubrication goes, and it has a 6-speed sequential X-Track paddle shift transmission, much like all the other GT4 cars. It also has an X-Track limited slip differential. It has adjustable Öhlins coilovers, and it's got some really beefy 6-piston Brembo aluminum monoblock calipers. So, very, very impressive and should help it compete with all the other GT4 competitors in that segment. And I think we should be seeing these relatively soon, later on this year. So, cool to see that. And yeah, hopefully they'll make a road-going version of this model. A stripped out lightweight Camaro would be pretty cool. Other Chevy news though is another awesome Chevy model, the Colorado ZR2. The price was just announced for those, and it's actually pretty competitive. It's going to be $40,995, so 41 grand, which is about $700 less than a Tacoma TRD Pro. And honestly, the ZR2 even seems far more beefed up than the Tacoma, because it's got these those really aggressive DSSV dampers. It's got a 2-inch lift, all kinds of legit off-roading stuff. This thing is like a Raptor competitor for almost $9,000 less than a Raptor. Obviously it's smaller than a Raptor and not as fast in a straight line, but as far as going off-road is concerned, should be a pretty good competitor. So yeah, it's going to be going on sale in the spring of 2017. Now that $41,000 base price is for the V6. Now you can option the same Duramax inline-4 diesel engine you can get in all the other Colorados. It's around a $4,000 option to upgrade to that. And yeah, so it's going to be pretty sweet for those that like to go off-roading. That should be a very exciting new option. So cool to see that. The other Chevy news is at the Chicago Auto Show. They debuted the Redline editions of the Cruze, Malibu, Trax, Colorado, Camaro, Silverado, Equinox, and Traverse. It's essentially a factory blackout package. They showed something like this at SEMA 2015, I believe, and it was received well, I guess. And with the popularity of blackout packages from other brands, which I'll get to more in a second, I guess it made sense to offer this on all models. The prices vary depending on the model, but it's anywhere from I think like $500 to, maybe $1,000 or so. So, just for those that like blacked out kind of stuff with, the red accents there, it's a cool little way to separate your Chevrolet from all the other ones out there in the parking lot. So, cool to see that. Nissan has done the same thing. Now, they've actually, last year they started this, they had this midnight package for the Maxima, and apparently 85% of all the people that ordered Maximas last year got this blackout or this midnight package. So Nissan's like, well, since everyone loves it, we'll just offer it on all their models, really. So now the Altima, Murano, Pathfinder, Rogue, and Sentra all have this midnight package as an option. And again, the prices vary depending on the model, around the same, ballpark there, $500 to I think $1,200, depending on the model for this blackout package. And same type of thing, gives you the darker trim and darker wheels, all that kind of stuff for those that want a little bit of a stealthier look. And other Nissan news at Chicago, they also announced the Titan King Cab, which is going to give you more room. You can have the longer bed, but still have a usable back seat. And speaking of the seating situation, I didn't realize how many trucks offered this. Maybe it's only the Titan and one or two others, but the Titan has seating for up to 6 in the King Cab because you can get an available front bench seat. I didn't know that was still a thing in 2017, but apparently it is. I like that that's the thing, though. That's pretty awesome. And otherwise, the same engines and tow ratings for the most part as the other Titans, depending on how you equip it and what engine you get in it. And those the King Cab, it basically has those like half doors where you have to open up the front doors first to get to the back. So not the full-on crew cab, but still gives you some nice usability there. It's a nice kind of halfway point. And so, I'm sure that'll be very handy for those that enjoy the Titan. Not wanting to miss out on the special editions, that's what most of Chicago seems to have been, is a bunch of special editions and blackout packages. Ram has brought out 2 new special editions of the Ram 1500. I keep wanting to say Dodge Ram. It's still so weird that it's not Dodge. Anyway, there's the Ram 1500 Copper Sport, which has copper accents, copper, paint. Then there's also the Ram Heavy Duty Night Edition. Apparently, the Night Edition already was available last year for the standard Ram, so now it's available on the heavy duty models. But these are, again, just appearance packages, no mechanical changes whatsoever. The Copper Sport starts at $46,950. They're only making 3,000 of them, so at least it is actually limited production. And they're all going to be crew cabs. They have the copper-colored paint on the body grille and bumpers. They also is a contrasting black decaled sport performance hood, black Ram's head grille badge. The tailgate badges are blacked out, and also the side badges, of course, and unique wheels that are either 20 or 22 inches, depending on whether you get a 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive version. And then you get copper colored accents on the seats, headrests, and on some of the trim pieces there. The Night Edition, if as you would expect, is available on the 2500 and 3500 models, and it's going to have an appearance package. It's basically a factory blackout kit, and blacks out all the trim and darker wheels, all that kind of stuff. That's also going to be available only on the crew cab, and the Night Edition starts at $46,840 for the base model 2-wheel drive 2500, and all these models are going to be hitting the showrooms in the next few months. So if you can't wait to get your hands on a factory blackout package, then you're going to have it by the summer, hopefully. And the last bit of news here from Chicago so far. The Chicago does continue on to Friday. I'm filming this on Thursday, so there might be a few stories that I missed this week. So you want to follow me on Twitter, of course, where I stay up to date on all the automotive news every day. And of course, I'll be finishing up talking about all the rest of the stuff next week in next week's update as well. But anyway, this last story is about the new Wrangler Rubicon Recon for 2017 here, which is going to be heading to showrooms soon. And this isn't just an appearance package, thankfully. In Jeep fashion, it's actually a little bit stronger, because apparently there's a hard rock version last year that got discontinued and people were upset about it, and so they're bringing kind of it back with this new and improved version called the Rubicon Recon. So it's going to have a stronger Dana 44 with strengthened tubes and heavy-duty end forgings. I don't even know what half of that means. I know nothing about Jeeps. Also, the front and rear differentials get stronger cast covers than the Hard Rock stamped ones, and the ratios are going to be the same, though, as the Hard Rock, which is 4:10 to 1 front and rear, true lock, locking diffs, and a Rock Track transfer case, and it's also going to have a 1/2 inch lift on it as well. There's 17-inch wheels that are exclusive to the Recon model here, and they're going to be on 32-inch BF Goodrich KM tires, and apparently the rock rails have been shaped to allow owners to fit 35 tires if they'd like, 35-inch tires, and in addition you get a special dashboard plaque and unique gauge cluster, and that's about it. But anyway, the 2-door Recon will start at around $40,000. The 4-door version's around $44,000, which is a good amount more than a standard Rubicon. But like I said, you do get those actual mechanical improvements, because a regular Rubicon's only around $34,000. So you're looking at about a $6,000 premium. And so yeah, and it's actually about $1,100 more than the Hard Rock model. But anyway, these new Recon Wranglers are going to be available at the end of this month for those that are so inclined. So anyway, that's it for all the news this week, guys, and that's it for the entire weekly update here. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Take care.